Welcome to Subramani. Many of us, of course, I'm older. Many of you, I should say, in your 40s and 50s, you have multiple responsibilities. You have to save for your own retirement. You have to save money for your children's education. Maybe your children are just getting into college, and you have to pay for that. And you have to look after your parents physically and financially. The 40s and 50s are a real challenging period, and many of us have, or all of us may have gone through that period. I have now reached a stage when my parent is well provided for and my daughter has started earning, so there's nobody financially dependent on me, which means the first thing that I could have done is gone and given up my life insurance. I still have a very small life insurance, but it doesn't really matter. The premium is very low. But those are the changes that will happen in your life. So what are the changes that will happen in your parents' life that you have to look after? So first step is estate planning. This is very difficult to do because it's when the parent thinks, this guy is or this girl is come to get my assets. It's not true, but it's important to know whether you should create a will, whether you should gift away the property, whether you should say, oh, here is the family settlement and on death you will get this, so it's a will come gift kind of a thing. Check out with your lawyer what is ideal for you in your situation. Why am I saying this? Because the rule is slightly different in Navi Mumbai and different in Mumbai. In Mumbai, it is easy to get your house transferred with just will and nomination. You don't need to get a probate. In Navi Mumbai, you may need to get a probate. Your society could insist on a probate. So is it better to just gift away the property? Then the question is, will your child take away the property and throw you out in case you are very old, maybe you're 90 plus, and they run out of patience and they need the house, so they just take it away? Is that possible? Can you create a life interest in that? Will your society understand all that? So this is not something very simple. Is it possible for you to talk about this? No, if you think it is difficult, get your company to talk about this and get your company to get a lawyer to talk about this, not just somebody, not a financial planner, not me. I am not supposed to. I can tell you need to do it. I don't want to tell you how to do it. That's the job of a lawyer. So getting your papers in place, getting even their simple name. If your father's name is Vishwanath and he spells it Vish Vanath, and your mother spells it as Visvanath and there's a H missing, there is a problem. Go and get the names to be perfectly in place for your Aadhaar card, your PAN card, your passport, your bank account. Everything has to be perfectly in sync. Once upon a time you could get away with it, but today when you go and make investments in a mutual fund, it does not ask you for the name, it asks you for the PAN and it goes and picks up from there. So if your PAN has a mistake, all your investments will carry that mistake, but your bank account may not be carrying that mistake because you opened your bank account much earlier. Even today, while opening a bank account, they check whether it is in sync with your PAN card, right, or Aadhaar card. So make sure that all these papers are in good place. Make sure some estate plan is in place. I'm not saying you should go and tell them that they should do their estate plan. It is difficult, but you can always say, look, Dad, my company is doing a exercise in making a will. I'm attending it with my wife or with my husband, whichever is right, and would you want to come along? Or say, okay, or if your dad or mom says, no, I don't want to come, or they are in a different location, you can do one thing is go attend, make a summary and send it across to them. Maybe put it in your family groups. Right, it's very difficult to address your parents, but it may be easier to address your mama or your kaka or somebody and say, I'm going to do this, would you be interested, would your brother be interested, would your sister be interested? All these things help. So getting your documents in place is step one. Getting the cash flow in place. Many older people are afraid that their cash flow is greater, the cash flow that they require is greater than their income. Now this shouldn't happen when you're in your 70s or 80s, because some part of your capital can erode. You don't have to worry. You don't have to leave your capital intact. If you, let's say, have 5 crores and you're getting 7% interest, that is about 30,000 rupees a month. You're getting about 35 lakh, you're getting about 35 lakhs and you're getting 3.5 lakhs, 3.5 lakhs, which is 30,000 a month, and you require 50,000 a month, then it's perfectly all right that 20,000 comes from your capital. When it comes from your capital, you're going to erode your capital over a 20-year period or a 30-year period. So don't worry too much about it, because that is bound to happen. You will never go with your capital intact. As long as you have a capital which is on the date of your death, if there is some capital intact, that's fine, but it need not be a huge amount. It should not be zero. That's about it, because you do not know when you will die. So managing your cash flow is not something which people understand, and I've known people who have struggled with that. However, I dealt with my mother is very simple. I've told my mother, whenever you need money, you will find it in the savings bank account. So the amount fluctuates because I do some equity trading in that account, etc. So that amount can fluctuate. So sometimes she could look at the figure and be alarmed, and sometimes she could call and say, oh my God, why is so much money lying in my savings account? So it doesn't really matter. She knows that as long as she signs a check for 20,000 rupees, it will go through. That's it. That's her requirement on a bi-monthly basis. She requires only about 10,000 rupees per month, because the telephone bill and the society charges, etc., have already been paid. So just her household expenses, right? So, but that's how I manage it. Each one has to find their own solution. So how your kids are going to communicate with your parents, the kid and the grandparent, all that is important. So managing their cash flow is important. And thirdly, I'm making this statement today is to manage their taxation. Till today, it made a lot of sense to keep your money in a growth plan and do a systematic withdrawal plan. Of course, that still makes sense. But if your parents' income, let's say your mother's income is 5 lakhs a year, and you're doing all this to save some tax, remember now you can go up to 12 lakhs and not pay tax. So suddenly, the dividend option or the IDCW option is now again attractive, saying, okay, for somebody who does not have much of a taxable income or has no taxable income because of the new revised 12 lakhs, you might start helping your parents with their taxation, saying, look, now this change has happened, so instead of growth option, fresh investments or new investments or shifting investments, we will do in IDCW, because that will give you 60,000-70,000 rupees per month, which is more than sufficient for your day-to-day expenses, right? So this could also be, I have seen people saying that I give my parents 50,000 a month or 40,000 a month. It makes more sense to put the money in a mutual fund and give them the monthly dividend option or something like that. I'm sure all this will come back, and it might be more attractive to do that, because even if the whole thing gets added to their income, they will not have too much of taxable income. And if you are saying that their expenses are, let's say, 50,000 rupees, and your father you created a 1 lakh rupee income for your father and a 1 lakh income for your mother, you're going to have a surplus there and you're going to reinvest, right? So make sure that you don't get carried away by the tax laws and by the investment changes that are happening, but your parents might get carried away. So give them good advice, tell them what to do, right? These are very basic financial things that I'm talking about. Getting your name in order, getting your real estate, your estate plan in place, getting your taxation, and getting your cash flow. Your cash flow and your withdrawing a little bit from principal should not matter. But now with a tax limit of 12 lakhs per head, creating an income of 12 lakhs for each of your parent is not a bad idea after all. Thank you.